I love it.
Hey, Linda, how you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you, Sam?
I'm doing excellent. We've always said that we should turn the recording on every time we go because sometimes our conversations before and after are better than our
Better
live.
on the show.
This one this come out of so cook your own damn turkey. Well, you know, um, you and I are a little bit older probably than a lot of the folks that are in some of our circles. But one of the things that we both learned, whether it's at a good age or not, was that we had to establish our own family traditions.
Right.
And until a young couple does that, they're always going to be, for lack of a better term, under the thumb of one set or both sets of parents.
And it's not that we're saying that being around family isn't a good thing, but especially early on when you're freshly married, with us, we got married and had our son right after. And at times it felt smothering. I don't think that was the intention, because I love my in-laws. I love my parents, but we were in such a small area. I mean, Omaha is not a huge town, but we all lived within 5 miles of each other. And what started out as very easy and convenient slowly became stressful for us because we were always expected somewhere.
Yes.
And that's, and on my side of the family, first grandchild, first great grandchild, and it was fun. But then as he got older and we had some things we wanted to do for ourselves before we went to either family gathering, that became harder. And it's not like my folks or his folks were like, you're not allowed to do that. It's just they were set in their ways. And I don't think they realized, especially on my side, because I was the first one, that we were looking to establish our own traditions and then welcome theirs as, we weren't trying to cut them out. We just wanted to add some of our own. And it was really hard to do when we were always on top of each other.
Well, and that's some of the other things that now I was fortunate in I have a large background in food service. So when it came time to actually cut those ties and have our own holidays because of where we moved and how we did those things, creating a family dinner and things like that was not near as difficult for me because I had the experience. But there are some folks that, they've never cooked a Thanksgiving dinner or a Christmas dinner or an Easter dinner or a big family dinner because mom or dad or grandparents have always done it.
Right.
And so then they get into it and they're thinking, I used to get calls from my young adults when I did that at church. So there's going to be 6 of us. Do you think a 25-pound turkey is big enough? Yes. Matter of fact, go down a couple sizes, and things like that. It was always kind of interesting, but I could see, if they don't have that experience, how long do I cook a prime rib? Well, it depends on how well you want it done, things like that. And nowadays it's a lot easier. You Google it, it comes up and there's a video.
Right.
And so
we had cookbooks, back in the day we had cookbooks, in fact, when we got married, we got the Betty Crocker cookbook,
Yep. Every house had a Betty Crocker cookbook.
Yep. And then then all the other ones you buy to go along with it. But it was all there. But if you're not part of the tradition of putting it together, you know, Dad always did the turkey, Mom always did the ham. And Jeff's family, they all had, and what we always decided was they did all the cooking, we did all the cleanup.
Yeah, that was my mom and dad. My grandparents
the
did all the
person that
cooking.
slaved in the kitchen for 10 hours is not going to be cleaning up the mess.
Right. Yeah, we did the dishes.
So that tradition stayed, but make it an adventure. Bring the kids in. Like our nephew started cooking the turkeys when he was probably in his early teens.
Yeah.
Because he
Yeah.
My brother liked to cook. And I think his mom liked to cook. And so he learned early. And here on the Omaha side, I think Ryan usually does the turkey.
Yeah.
They have the big house because they've got all the kids. So everybody goes over there and they love to do the big.
Yeah.
And they do the tamales on Christmas morning and all that good stuff. So
all that good stuff. Yeah. Well, I have a granddaughter who lives close by, and she has a daughter now, and they have they've got the three of them. I get a kick out of them, when they're talking about, who's going to do what and where and everything else. So I asked her here a while ago, I said, so what are your traditions? And so I do not want to interfere with whatever her and her boyfriend and my great granddaughter have planned. That's fine. Whatever you have planned, you have planned. But at some point in time, you have to establish your family boundaries and traditions.
Yes.
We moved away. Let's see. Well, I was 17 when my parents actually moved away from family from the Philadelphia area to Vallejo, California. I was a senior in high school, and so that dramatically changed family traditions.
Mm-hmm.
Now the upside to it is my mom was a pretty decent cook, so there wasn't really that kind of an issue or anything else. But then she expected the same type of traditions that she was raised with. Everybody comes home for Christmas and Thanksgiving.
Mm-hmm.
And so, that wasn't necessarily a good thing. But anyway, sometimes I think until you move a distance away, there for the longest time, we all lived in the same town. I moved away from where my parents were. After Sandy was born. So, I don't know, we'd been married 8 years or something like that before we moved away. And so, to start our own traditions, well, here's the thing. We were so ingrained in some of the things that we're doing, we made a plan to travel somewhere over the holidays.
Yeah.
And that's not necessarily the best thing. So anyway, but establishing those, it goes back to, establishing your own tribe, your own network. And sometimes, it used to bother me when people use the term from Thanksgiving. They, what were they calling it here a few years ago? Friendsgiving. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Okay. So that kind of breaks the mold of doing the whole family thing. But then when you stop and look at our society, if you look at this area here in Florida,
mm-hmm.
there are a lot of folks who are here at the colleges. Mm-hmm. They don't go home, they stay because where else can you go to the beach 365 days a year? And so a bunch of their friends got together. There's nothing wrong with that.
No.
That could be a phenomenal tradition for folks who don't have a lot of family here in the area, or are not going home or whatever. But then the thing with that is because my granddaughter was one that did some of that stuff,
Mhm.
and then they would it wasn't the same group every year.
No.
There was a nucleus, but uh, but then you pretty much could invite whoever, and you weren't always cooking turkey.
Right. I know after we moved away, I mean, we love turkey, but there's just three of us. And so it was
Mhm.
really hard to do. I think after a while, we just bought the turkey breast because it seemed like we were in Turkey forever,
Yeah,
like
right.
almost until Christmas, right?
Yeah,
So then we tried different things. One year I did Chinese, and
yeah,
I made the Chinese. We didn't order out.
yep.
One year we did Italian,
Mhm.
whatever. It wasn't about the food we were eating, it was about the gathering.
Gathering, yeah. Yeah, and
And
it needs to be more about the gathering.
yeah, because you can, believe it or not, you can eat turkey any day of the year.
Yep, I have one in the freezer. So
And if you've never made one before, you might want to practice before
yeah,
Thanksgiving.
yeah, that's true. I when the whole deep frying turkeys came out,
Oh yeah.
oh my goodness, it was like, are you kidding me? Somebody's going to get hurt. And sure enough, people they put a frozen turkey in
Oh
uh,
God.
and just drop it in, and oh my goodness.
Yeah, and
But
it's
anyway, I had a gentleman at a buffet. One of the things that was on that buffet all the time was a sliced turkey.
yeah, turkey
And I
cranberry
came in and
sauce.
I said, and he's got this big stock pot. I said, what are you doing? He said, I'm cooking the turkeys. I said, what? And he had three 25-pound turkeys in this stock pot, a huge stock pot.
Uh-huh.
And I said, they're going to taste horrible. He was boiling them. And he said, no, you got to trust me. So I did. They were excellent. But he had, for lack of a better term, a packet of spices and stuff that he put in that water when he cooked those turkeys.
Yeah.
I never had that recipe. That was his recipe, so I never forced the issue with him. But the turkey was excellent. With the exception of the crusty skin, that you get when you roast it.
Oh yeah, I gotta have the crusty skin. Yeah.
Yeah. So what he started doing was he would butter them up real good, throw them in the oven real quick to brown the skin, and then put it out. And it's like, okay, I can live with this. So, yeah, he was old school, really old school.
When
But
you think about it, when you go to any of the buffet places, or even when you go to regular restaurants, almost all of them have some kind of a turkey
mhm,
on the
yeah,
menu all the time.
yeah, mhm, yeah, inexpensive meal to put out for the most part.
Yeah, and
You
it,
know,
it always tastes good.
yeah, yeah. So, but these family traditions, um, I look back on a lot of them with um, good memories.
Mhm.
You know, where there's some of them where maybe things got a little heated or whatever. But for the most part, all that stuff gets overruled by the family ties, the good memories and things.
Right.
And so I really kind of enjoy our traditions now. Now, my wife is Ukrainian,
Hmm.
and so is most of her family. So we do a combination of food.
Oh,
And
yeah.
so, it's funny though. It's funny. Um, uh, as much as I like their traditional Ukrainian food and stuff like that, they got to have turkey. Got to have turkey, mashed potatoes, and gravy. You know, and now they like the candied yams.
Oh,
So
yeah.
yeah, so that's not something I'm supposed to be eating, but once a year, who cares, right? Um, but that's
Plug your
the
arteries all year long, right?
yeah, right, right. That's the whole premise of what we're talking about today, and that is, what are some of the traditions that serve you
Hmm.
and serve your family and bring the family together, what are you doing that it's driving a wedge?
And because my birthday's right around Thanksgiving, so every few years it lands on Thanksgiving. And growing up, when my birthday was on Thanksgiving, I got to choose what we had, and
Ah,
I love turkey, but I love ham,
yeah.
and
Mhm.
so we'd have the ham, and then we'd have turkey for Christmas. Otherwise,
Yep.
it was the other way around. But and to me, Christmas meal is turkey and ham. Got to have
Yeah.
all of that fixins and the candied
Yep.
yams and the green bean
Mhm.
casserole and with onions
Yep.
on top
Yep.
and all that good stuff.
Yeah, that's become a favorite too, the green bean casserole.
And
So
got to have
it's
the Hawaiian rolls, warm Hawaiian rolls with butter.
yep, 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 yep. And we've gone to when I can find it now. This year I found it. Um, we got a heck of a deal on prime rib.
Yeah.
It was I haven't seen it that cheap in a long time, and it was high quality. It cooked up. It was perfect. So
Yeah.
um, and and everybody enjoyed that. The downside to it is there were no leftovers.
They really enjoyed it.
Yep, 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 yep. So, so what are you going to do, folks? What are you going to what kind of new traditions? What kind of things are you going to start with your family? We have a couple holidays coming up here. We got Memorial Day in May. You also have the Fourth of July coming up. A month and a half later. So, what are your traditions for that? I know that um, here in Florida, by that time, usually the heat is
Stifling.
yeah stifling, and so we go to the beach. You know, but maybe that tradition needs to change.
Well, and this year it's the big 250th
Yeah,
celebration here in the US. So
yeah,
um, that's, I think people will be doing things that they haven't done before because we're going to have that extra celebration.
yeah, yeah.
Um, and, because our family has always been, pet families. Um, I really don't care if I hear the fireworks. I like
Mhm.
to watch them, but I don't need all that. And, they're already starting to blow them off in the neighborhood.
Oh yeah, yeah,
It's
so,
only May. Well,
yeah,
you know,
yeah.
it doesn't, we don't need a reason, evidently.
No, but
They're going on all the time.
that living in Wyoming, it was a lot easier to go set off fireworks somewhere.
Yeah.
And we used to when we lived in a little town called Kemmerer, Wyoming. Um, Very few people even know where that's at. Uh, we had a restaurant there. We actually had an airport. Um, Not that there were that many planes that ever came in, but
Yeah.
you could go up the airport and wide open, wide
Yeah.
open. So if you saw the fireworks land and there was any issue,
You
you could
could
go
take
take
care
care
of
of
it.
it,
Yeah.
and nobody bothered you. You know, but we one Christmas in a restaurant, and I swear to God, I don't know how our wives didn't kill us. Um, but we took some tubes, big tire tubes and some rope
Mhm.
and tied it on the back of the pickup truck. Took all the kids, um, riding around the airport and flinging them on those tubes and having a blast and everything else. Nobody got hurt. We had a good old time, but when you gather like that, because we had what did we have? One, two, three, four families. With all the kids. The kids got along, had a blast. We didn't have enough tubes, so sometimes there was two and three kids on a tube.
Yeah.
Um, but those types of things during the holidays, when on special days, are things that kids remember.
Right.
You know, and when you can create those kind of memories around a holiday,
Yeah.
that's precious.
It is. And that's part of even if it doesn't become tradition, but they're memories
Yeah, yeah,
and they're good memories. And,
yeah,
you know, I love tradition, but I also like to tweak it every year.
Mhm.
You know,
Yeah.
I want each year to be memorable for itself,
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
regardless
Exactly.
of what the, you know, whether it's a holiday or birthday or whatever.
Right.
Um, in June, my sister turns 60, so I'm going to come out and we're going to have a little fun celebration, and then that'll be good.
Yeah.
Um, you know, and I asked her, I said, "Are you doing anything?" And she said, "Oh, I hadn't thought about it." Like, girl, you're gonna be 60. Come on, let's
Yeah.
celebrate.
But, and the thing is that, um, so kids, especially, and adults even, will rarely remember what they got for their birthday last year
Mhm.
or for Christmas. Liam can tell you, our grandson can tell you which cars he got when, but that's,
Yeah,
and he's got a gazillion of them, right? Um, but one of the things we gave him last year for Christmas was Legoland. He still talks about Legoland,
oh yeah,
and kids will remember that. One year the kids came down and we went to Disney. Now I don't recommend doing that too often because it's got an extremely outrageous price,
yeah,
but they still talk about it, and that was 2018.
okay,
Was outrageously expensive then. It's
oh yeah,
more so
nothing
now. But
compared to now.
yeah, we put the money aside for almost a year. So anyway, but yeah, create those events. And folks, if you're just starting out, you even if you're not, if you've been tied into routines that you need to break free from, cook your own damn turkey.
You know, and it doesn't have to be anything big or expensive.
No, no, you can do
There are
burgers.
lots of fun things you can do that doesn't have to break your bank
Mhm.
and
So
doesn't have to
our
be a huge ordeal.
since we've been down here now, we haven't the last 2 years, mainly for some health reasons. But the first few years we were down here, our New Year's Day celebration was a walk on the beach, Honeymoon Island. Um, 9 times out of 10, if there was 5 other people on the beach at that time of the day, that was a surprise. Um, and is it a little chilly? Yeah, the water's cold,
Cool. Yeah.
but but you know, what an experience. We can talk about all of them. My wife can go back and show you some of the sales that she got this year, and this year, just because there's nobody out there.
Right.
And you've already gone through the storm season and everything's been washed up. And so yeah, what kind of new traditions you're going to create in your family? It doesn't have to be for a holiday. Maybe
No.
it's your Sunday dinners.
Yeah.
If you have family dinners, maybe that needs to be changed up. What kind of traditions do you need to make for your own family? And more, age doesn't matter.
No.
If you're just starting out, you need to do your own traditions, fine. But if you're our age and you've been doing the same thing over and over again, maybe it's time for a new tradition.
Right. You know,
So
those are the kind of things that keep us young,
mhm,
keep us moving forward, and they're experiences that don't have to be over the top.
right, and they don't have to be expensive.
No, the whole point of holidays is to share them with people you love,
Yep.
whether that's family, friends, neighbors, whoever.
Hmm.
It's not about it's about gathering and sharing food, and you get to decide what you share.
Right,
You know, it
right,
doesn't just because we say turkey is traditional for Thanksgiving, it doesn't have to be.
right. Exactly,
We do all
exactly.
sorts of different things,
Yeah,
and it was fun.
yeah. It's I just a tradition just came to mind. We used to live place was Prospect Avenue, Prospect Park. We lived on a hill. Now, growing up, that was a very steep hill.
Ooh, sledding hill.
It was a sledding hill. It's gotten a lot less steep as I've gotten older. Um, so, but growing up, it was a very steep hill. And usually they didn't cinder it, they didn't plow it. Just at the top where one of the bigger roads went through, that's where the ice had all be melted off. But when it was sledding time, I don't know how my parents afforded it or whatever, but mom always had hot chocolate. She had all sorts of stuff. And I remember many days sledding down that hill and our front door was wide open.
Yep.
It's freezing outside and our front door is wide open because she's serving hot chocolate and doing all that kind of stuff. And so,
Yep.
and sometimes there'd be 30, 40 people sledding. They come from all over.
I don't know if neighborhoods do that anymore. I kind of miss that.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. I haven't been back there in the snow recently to see how that goes. I mean, they would come around and would literally block the streets off.
Yeah.
So they would put the barriers up, and then they knew people were sledding, so they put barriers on the cross street down below.
Yeah.
And so it was very, very interesting, and I kind of miss that.
I miss
Well,
it too. I used to
I
love to
miss
do that.
that part of it, but I don't miss being that cold.
That's why I live in Denver, even though they're getting clobbered.
Yeah,
But
they are today. So, well, Linda, this has been fun.
it has,
So,
again, shake things up a little bit. Don't
Yep.
get stuck in a rut. Life
Yep.
is too short.
it is. Change things up. So if you like the content that we're putting out, please like and share, follow us, Lord, that we may be able to grow the community. But if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us, balancingact2024@gmail.com. That'll get Linda and I both get those emails. But yeah, we appreciate your time. Thanks for listening, and learn to cook your own turkey.
That's all right. Have a good one, everybody.
Bye-bye.